guys, it's fucking biling up here tonight. I don't know why. I think the sun's out in Glasgow, and it's beaming right through that sun window there, and it's right onto me. I am sweating. It's so warm. But hello, welcome back to the channel. It's nice to see you for the... Oh, I'm itchy. It's nice to see you for the second time today. If you've not already seen it, we uploaded on the channel earlier on, so after this is done, you can go and check that out. But for now, we're going live, and it's time to preview the final derby of the season. Can I get a hooray? Does anybody even care? This is the most... Not the most. This is the least spoke about derby I've seen in a long time on our side anyway. I don't know what it's like on the other side of things, but I've not... My mates have been quiet. Twitter, I feel like, has been quiet. I feel like everybody's just been quiet in regards to this derby game tomorrow. It is still a derby game that you want to win, absolutely, but the result at the end of the day is irrelevant to anybody's season. Doesn't get any Rangers anywhere, doesn't affect our season. The only thing that it really affects Celtic with is if we want to set these records, if we want to beat these records that are in front of us for the most successful team in Scottish football history, basically. And we need to win for that reason. But aside from that, you know, pride is on the line, I suppose. But, you know, I'm not going to cry tomorrow if things don't go our way. We'll take it as it goes. And it's just a game of football at the end of the day. But, yeah, nobody's really caring, are they? I see a couple of people saying in here... saying that nobody seems to care. Yeah. Must have a clean hoops top handy. Down the stairs somewhere. If I take this off, unlucky yous, because you'd be sitting looking at my chebs. Right, let's talk about it. Mostly for this stream, I want to just get conversation with you guys. I want you guys to dictate the chat, ask questions, and we'll talk about everything in relation to the game tomorrow. But just my quick thoughts on tomorrow. Yeah, I'm confident we can win. Obviously, one of the biggest parts of this derby is there's no Celtic fans there. Just like there was no Rangers fans at the last game in the league. I don't think it makes a difference to Celtic. I think we've showed that in the past, that you can have as little Celtic fans in there and it won't make a difference. We'll still go out there and we'll still play football the Ange Postecoglou way. So I think that doesn't faze Celtic or our players. Yeah, it's not great. It's nice to have fans in the stadium and stuff like that, but we know the reasons why. We don't need to rehash it. But I don't think it'll affect Celtic. Obviously, there's been a big conversation discussing the Guard of Honour. It was actually raised to Ange Postecoglou today. I don't know why. I don't know what journalist asked the question. But I don't think that it's a question that should have been asked of Ange Postecoglou. It's a needless talking point. And it's one of those ones that they just love to have in the headlines. It's your SEOs, isn't it? It's your buzzwords. It's what you want people to be. Nobody cares about the Guard of Honour. I don't care. I really, and if you're really annoyed that Rangers won't be giving us a Guard of Honour tomorrow, have a good look at yourself, because I would never expect Celtic to do the same thing for Rangers. And we didn't a couple of years back, if you remember rightly. But Postecoglou spoke in the media today. He said there's a respect between the rivals, but it's no big deal for him. Those things tend to be symbolic more than anything. Respect is shown in different ways, and I don't need a Guard of Honour to know that. There's respect between two sides, and certainly between the two sets of players. So there you go. There'll be no Guard of Honour. I don't care that there's no Guard of Honour. And that's that. We get on with the football and we look to batter them in the park. That's really it. Another opportunity for the big mouths of Rangers to prove one last time if they're worthy of beating Celtic, if they've got it in them, or it's one last chance to show that the serial losers that they have been all season, your Cantwells, your Taverniers, your Goldsons, your Michael Beales, who've been coming out game after game against Celtic and saying it'll be different next time, expect a different Rangers. They're already chatting ahead to next season saying expect a different Rangers. They need to learn to keep their mouth shut, and tomorrow I've got a very good feeling that Celtic can shut their mouth again. And even if we don't, even if Rangers fans want to clip that, what I've just said there, what does it matter? It would be pathetic if you did, because we've shut you up big time this season. And we've actually sat you down to a humiliating level this season. Celebrating a win tomorrow would be embarrassing as a Rangers supporter, in my eyes. It'd be embarrassing. I wouldn't be happy. It means nothing. All season you've been serial losers. And I just hope it is that one last chance tomorrow for Celtic to prove once again that they're serial losers. That's really what I want from this game. Before I get on to your questions, let me quickly go through kind of my team selection and stuff. Obviously, both teams on kind of different wavelengths at the minute in regards to form. Celtic impeccable, just that little blip against Motherwell a couple of weeks back. But Rangers, they've obviously lost 2 of their last 5 games. One against us, one against Aberdeen. They haven't been all that great or convincing in the other games as well. So, they've lost 3 of their last 5 games. My bad, forgot about the other game. 3 of their last 5 games, or 6 games. So what I'm thinking to myself is, Celtic should be considered favourites. I think we are favourites, and I don't think that, I just don't think that there's a big thing to be made out of this, that Rangers need a win or anything either. Season's over. So we'll just see how it goes. As I said, kind of pointless game. Team selection. A lot of people talking. I've seen a few of my mates talking about this today as well, and I just don't agree. And I've got to go and check what Ange said in regards to this. I don't think we'll make many changes. I don't think we're going to see rotation left, right, and centre. I don't see why we would. I think that we'll play pretty much our strongest side, to be honest. I know it's, as I've already said, slightly a pointless derby, but I just think that, it would be very uncharacteristic of Ange to go out there and make changes. Yeah, as the game goes on, if we're in a decent position, I expect to see maybe some of the other guys come on the park, some of the younger guys, some of the newer guys maybe get chances. But aside from that, maybe later on in the game, I don't expect us to start the game very differently to what we know we have. Obviously, the 2 big misses we have is Johnson and Cameron Carter-Vickers. We know that they're out. They won't be playing. That's definite. But yeah, apart from that, I think it'll be mostly an untouched side. I think that will obviously Ralston and Kobayashi come in there. I think everything will be pretty much what we expect to see on a normal game-to-game basis. So yeah, and my score prediction, wow. I'm going to go for 2-0 to Celtic. And this is very, talking about the opposition very quickly, this is very telling for Rangers heading into next season, because, they can blab on all they like. By the way, thank you very much for the donation, Blake. That is tremendous, son. A £10 donation from Blake Owen. What a hero. Read out your comment. I might get slated for this, but if I were Beale, I'd be playing the players that show potential to stay. This is good. This is what I was coming into here. Thank you, Blake. Fantastic, you son. Brilliant. I'd be playing the players that show potential to stay, and if I were Ange, I'd be testing fringe players to see who can cope with the pressure. Right, I want to talk more on the side of Michael Beale and Rangers here for a moment, even though it's a Celtic channel. But what I want to say is, I think that it's going to be very telling, and you know what's going to happen, right? You know what's going to happen. If we were to beat them in any way tomorrow, whether we beat them slim margins or massive margins, 4-5-0 scudding, whatever, they're going to come out with the same stuff tomorrow. Or next season, half of them don't want to be here. Or we'll renovate, we'll be better, yada, yada, yada. I think tomorrow is just as telling for next season as what the summer is. I think that Rangers really need to go out there and put on a bit of a show and show that there is some character there, because you could talk about players leaving and players making changes and all that jazz, but at the end of the day, there's still a good couple of players in that team who have been giving it this. Todd Cantwell especially, claiming this, that, and the next thing. You want to see, as a Rangers fan, you'd want to see them actually show that tomorrow. And if they don't, then I think next season, it's no guarantee these signings are going to come in and make a big difference off the bat. You've got to hope that the guys that are staying there add to that as well. Obviously, Celtic were incredibly lucky at the end of our poor season that we were in a position where we just picked up things straight away. There's no guarantee Rangers will do that. And tomorrow, I feel like they need that showing if they want to actually, back up anything as to what they're saying going into next season. Tavernier here saying it'll be a different Rangers. We'll show that tomorrow then. Give us a challenge tomorrow. But obviously, a lot going in, a lot going out. Yeah, not my business as a Celtic fan. But thank you, Blake, for your donation. It's very much appreciated. Right, let's just spend the next part of this stream talking to you and getting your thoughts and your points. The reason there's no podcast, basically, well, just Callum's on holidays in Tenerife, so that's one man down straight away. McGinley working away and having limited time. Kiernold, his exams are on at the moment. He's been studying, he's been doing his exams. We couldn't get recording. Hopefully, we can get a review of sorts up as soon as, we can get recording Sunday, Monday, whatever. But basically, best of luck to Kieran in these exams. Best of luck to McGinley in the new job. Callum's getting pished in Tenerife, so that's why there's no podcast. So let's get you guys to be the podcast. Let's talk to you. Celtic Glad 1888 says, with our weakened defence tomorrow, we could fall to a loss. Yeah, look, listen, I wouldn't even say it's a weakened defence. I think that's been pretty harsh on the other. Yeah, it's weakened. There's no denying that. It's not our strongest defence. But I think that Ralston has already showed in derby games in the past he can be good enough. Kobayashi, I've been very impressed with what I've seen of him so far. I don't think it makes much of a difference. Joe Curran, he's got the same same thinking as me. Just play our strongest 11 and hammer this mob who hate us. Won't let us into their pit and beat them. Hail, hail. That's my thinking. Just go out there. Strongest team. Strongest team. Get it done. Get it done and dusted. I want to see as many goals and as much pain and agony as possible. Pile on the agony, put on the style. Listen, the thought of going a full season against them once again without losing is just absolutely fantastic. 2 of them being big cup games as well. Random question to get, but I seen it and I thought I'd answer. Everybody knows I'm my favourites, man. I'm a Beatles boy. You know, I'm obsessed. I'm a maniac. Did you see Abada say, I'll silence IBROX? Good, I hope he does. I would like to see Abada get some good minutes tomorrow. I actually wouldn't mind Abada starting tomorrow, to be honest. Ewan says, pointless game tomorrow. Rangers will have decent spells in the game as they usually do, but they need to keep it up for 90 minutes. If they want to beat us this season, yeah, and the new Air movie is worth a watch. I might see it in the cinema, Ewan. Brilliant picture. Loved it. On that note, in regards to Rangers and keeping it up for 90 minutes, one thing that I've not addressed in this stream whatsoever, and one thing I've not spoke about yet at all, is the fact that in the last three derby games, we've not been great, but they've been worse. And, you know, they've had opportunities in front of them to back up all these things they're saying, and then they don't. And yeah, they get decent spells in the game. There's points in the game and I'm thinking to myself, oh Christ, they could get us here. But they don't do anything with it. And then that feeling goes away, and I'm not threatened by Rangers at all. So yeah, they need to keep it up for 90 minutes. But whether they can do that or not is completely different. Strongest 11 possible for me as well. Use the Hibs and St Mirren games for the rotation. I agree. I like that. Good comment as always, DM McDonald. Very good comment. Feel like if we rotated even a little bit, we'd still beat them as we've shown we're miles ahead of them, says Gillen. Gillen? Is that how you pronounce it? Gillen, I'm sure. Yeah, I agree. I think we're just miles ahead. Well done, Lindsay. Hello, welcome. Nice to see you. Hail, hail. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, donation. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. £2 donation. Give Smile a watch, Ryan, please. Smile. Sounds like a horror. I'm not a horror man. I'll tell you right now, I'm not a horror man. So there's a very slim chance, but thank you for the donation. Let's see, what else is I going to say? Was going to say the same, Ryan. Bar the 4-0 game, we've not been great in the games we've not been great in the games against us. The amount of chances they've had has not tested us. It's bizarre to me. Yeah, like, you know, it's always that way where, like, you start seeing us being a little bit slack, a wee bit sloppy. In these last few games against them, I'm talking about. He always seems been a wee bit slack and sloppy. And you get a bit panicked. You're like, can I get away with this forever? But then the more you see Rangers go forward, the more you're thinking, fuck me, they'll do nothing. They're terrible. And this has been a recurring theme now all season. So yeah, they don't have the quality to keep up with us, because even when we're playing at our worst, we still managed to do it. Also, once again, another £10 donation. Thank you, Craig. Absolute legend. Ange doesn't give a toss about Rangers tomorrow or their summer rebuild. He's going to improve Celtic regardless. Yes, exactly. I hate just quoting the same quote all the time, but we never stop. And you see us getting linked, and Ange just kind of rubbished it today at the presser with these 3 links that we've been linked to the transfers. And he's kind of said, way off the mark or whatnot. And even if that is off the mark, which could be a bluff, but even if it is off the mark, not going to stop Ange improving this team going into next season. And that's, you know, Rangers will think, you know, and that's it. This is what I'm saying. I love giving them false hope. I really do, because it was the same last year. It was the same at the start of this year when we had that wee slip. You know, and he keeps it, they're not that great, stuff like that. If we give them that opportunity tomorrow for them to turn around and go, oh, they're not that great, we can catch them next season. Love it. Give them it. Because I want us to go and blow them out of the water again next season. First derby, beat them 4-0 again or something. But thank you, Craig. Really appreciate the donation. They will be up for it. It's their last chance to beat us. Absolutely, they will be. They'll go for it. I think they'll go for it off the bat a bit more than us. And I would expect to see them dominate more of the ball. IBROX is going to be toxic tomorrow. Absolutely toxic. But toxic in the sense that we can use it to our advantage as well. You know, we can use that to our advantage. As soon as one thing goes wrong in the game, it gets tedious in that IBROX crowd. As soon as another thing goes wrong, it starts to get a bit more. And then when it goes to the point where Celtic are getting chances and Rangers are fluffing theirs, they're on their own team's back. They're booing. They're on top of it. They'll let that play to our advantage. But there is no denying it from the start tomorrow that they'll probably be right in for it. And I think they'll be in for it a bit more than us off the back. Ryan, I know you probably get asked this a lot. How many more signs away for doing this? A wee bit more in Europe and progress on that front. I just think it depends who. It's hard because there's got to be players that leave as well. I would like to see a good 2 or 3 quality players come in, like 2 or 3 game-changing players, and then I think we can challenge in Europe. I think that we need someone, maybe in goals. I love Joe, but maybe somebody in goals just to offer an option as well. Another fantastic attacker, maybe a striker, I don't know, and then maybe another defender in there as well. I would like to see 3 big signings or something. And I think we've got a team that we can do it just now, to be quite honest. But I think that we're 2 or 3 signings away from being like first team players to maybe changing everything that we do in a European front. But we'll talk about that more in depth as we head into next season. We kind of know what's happening with players coming in and out. Thinking that there'll be doubts over Beale if he loses again to save it. Yeah, I wonder how long it's going to take. I really do. If we were to beat them tomorrow, and say we beat them convincingly, just hypothetically speaking, I'm not saying it's going to happen, right? But say we hypothetically beat them by quite a few tomorrow, I wonder what that would do for Michael Beale and his longevity as Rangers manager, because, yeah, they're going to back him in the summer. That's guaranteed. He's not going to be going anywhere, even if we were to batter them tomorrow. They're going to back him in the summer. He is the man. But how long into next season do they give it if he's not catching up with Celtic? Will it be another Gio? It's just food for thought. I'm not saying that that's going to be the case, but it's food for thought. Let's see. Where is Phil? Get Phil in here. Can't have a stream without Phil. We spoke about it, Lubo. Absolutely no chance. Even Anne just said he doesn't want it. I don't want it. But it is, it is funny because obviously Tavernier did talk about respect and such, but or true sportsmanship, whatever the quote was. But yeah, would start Iwata tomorrow. Has brought a coolness whenever he plays. We'll need it tomorrow, especially during the early stages of the game. Not a bad school of thought there, Caden, and not a bad school of thought at all. I would be very surprised if Iwata started, but I wouldn't be against the idea of Iwata starting. I think that if you had a midfield of, say, Iwata, McGregor, and I don't know, maybe O'Reilly, Moy, whatever, Hatate. If you had McGregor, Hatate, and Iwata, I really wouldn't bat my eyelids. Is that right? I don't know. Yeah, it is. I wouldn't bat my eyelids at it. I would be really happy with it, but I would be really stunned if he does get the start. You know what I mean? I'd be really stunned if he actually does get that. So, yeah, Kyogo scored at least 2 goals. Well, or at least 2 goals to break the record. Right, okay, Alex. Is that what it is? He'll get 2 before the end of the season, I think. Just need to feed him. Because he knows how to finish it. He knows how to get the business done. So, yeah. Let's see. Thank you, Alistair, as always. Thank you. Do I think he'll break the goal record? Yeah, I think so. I think he will do it. I hope he does. Here's something I want to talk about before we go off tonight, whenever I decide to go off. What are the chances of the Celtic game happening? And if it does, will it expand into the upper tier, much like Borussia Dortmund's yellow wall? I was at the women's game last night, and I was sitting right in amongst it at the Celtic end, and it was brilliant. It was out bloody standing. It was really, really, really good. It needs to be done. It's game-changing. What that could do for Celtic Park on a week-to-week basis when 60,000 are there in the stadium, and what it could do for us in the European nights as well, it's unspeakable. It's brilliant. And that was a women's game last night with only 9,000 people there. And it sounded brilliant. They got right behind the team, and you could see it made a difference. Celtic's women started shooting towards the Celtic end in the second half, and it transformed the team. It pushed them, and after the first goal, they became a different team. And that's the effect that this can have. And I'm not trying to offend anybody here. I'm not. And people won't like some people won't like what I'm going to say here. And if you don't agree with me, that's fair. You're allowed your own opinion. You can't force somebody into something they don't want to do or whatever, right? But you need to give up your selfishness in this situation. If you've got a seat there, yeah, fantastic. I think it's great that people have had the same seat for 10, 15 years, and it's not easy to give up. And I'm not saying that I want you just to give it up like that. You know, it's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is sometimes I think that you should put yourself aside for the greater good of the entire football team and the entire support, because that would transform Celtic Park to the next level, a level that every Celtic fan can have a part in for years to come. You're not going to have that seat forever. You know, people are going to come and go before and after you on those seats. But the Celtic end is something that can be there for such a long time. For the eternity as Celtic exists, the Celtic end can be there. And this is a chance and an opportunity to start it, given the right allowance, the right cooperation, and just the right vision. And I hope that everybody that is involved in the decision making realises that. I hope they realise what they can do to transform Celtic and Celtic Park. I really do. And listen, we're not going to be at Celtic Park forever. You know, Celtic Park's not going to be standing till the day we all die. You know, it's not a chance in my lifetime it's going to be standing the day I die. We'll be gone out of Celtic Park by then. You know, with a new stadium. And seats are great. I love my seat. I would hate to move seat. But if it was for the greater good and the future of the club, and for the rest of the supporters, I don't see how I could stand in anybody's way at doing that for the sake of moving seat. I think it's worth a good discussion, and I think the discussion deserves to be had at least. Do I think it will happen? Do I? Honestly, no. I don't think it will. And I hope I'm proven wrong on that. The only reason I don't think it is because I think there's too many people that don't want to move. And I think there's too many people who are just bitter towards it. And you see that already in the posts and the videos and yesterday. And Hamish put up a great video of it. And a lot of Celtic pages did. And the same sort of people in the comments. I'm not moving. I don't want to move. It's terrible. I'm like, come on. And that's why I think it won't happen. And they've got the hospitality situation as well. I just think that for the greater good of Celtic Park, that you should really consider it when the opportunity comes calling. And when the time comes, and when Celtic ask the question, I think that everybody should cooperate. And I hope that there isn't a few sticklers that keep it from happening, because yesterday was absolutely fucking magic. And I would love to see it at Celtic Park, whether I was sitting or standing there or not. I think for the good of Celtic Park, it should be done. Anyway, ran over. I think a lot of people have been commenting on the Celtic end here, and a lot of great comments that I would love to bring up. I think it's something that we'll need to dive deep into when it comes. Here's a comment. Somebody's given Danielle a lot of credit for her comments. I'll read it out. They rent the seat off Celtic. They do not own the seat. Can't stand the "it's my seat" pish. Get it done, Celtic. Do you know what? Very well put. Incredibly well put. No, I know some people do act like it's theirs. You know, they were there the day Celtic Park was erected in what year was it? 1997 or what? They act as if they built the seat themselves and they fucking screwed it in and they own it. You know, that's not the case. And I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to lose fans or subscribers or whatever because they don't agree with me on this front. But it's true. You know, it's a seat. You know, it's. That is what it is. I guess everybody's got their own opinions and they can go for it, I suppose. But I think that's a very good point from Daniel. That's a really good point. I've seen a lot of people giving Daniel credit there for a point. There he is, the man, Ian Fleming. Sorry I'm late, Ryan. Been busy. Don't worry, Ian. It'll be up on the channel for you to watch back anyway. We'll only be live for about a couple of more minutes or so. I'm going to the gym. I've got the gym. It's 7 o'clock. I might be at the gym. It's 5 to 7 just now, so I'm a bit late. So Aaron's put in, enough people have already signed up. I've already got a weird agenda towards the Green Brigade and boys. Just the idea of them getting more of a presence in the stadium or even moving from their seat is enough for them to hate it. I think that's absolutely spot on as well. And you know, I just think that you know, all these opinions are allowed, they're warranted. You know, you're allowed to have your own opinion. Nobody's allowed to take your opinion from you. But I'll die on that hill. Like, I've got an opinion on everything. You know, everybody's got an opinion. But I think that, you know, to be so stubborn towards these groups who are genuinely there for the betterment of the atmosphere at Celtic Park and nothing else, to then stand in the way of it, I just think it's really selfish. And I just think it's really, I just think it's so little thought that goes into it. I don't think they actually think beyond the initial idea, and they just refuse to. It's so stubborn, it's so ignorant. And I feel like if you look beyond it, and you actually put some thought into it, then you can start actually having a conversation with yourself. But if you're not willing to do that, you're never going to get anywhere. But I think you're right, Aaron. I really do think you're right. Aye. Right, well, I'm going to end it there tonight, ladies and gents, because, as I said, I'm already running late. So I better get moving. Try to get back in shape. I'm a fat cunt. So, I need to get moving. Right, thank you, everybody. Thank you for all your great opinions. Thank you for all your donations. We will be back on the channel. Tomorrow there will be a derby review. There will be. I'm watching it here. I'm not going out. I'm not drinking. I'm not in the bus. I'm not at the supporters, but I'm not at the pub. I'm here. I'm watching it fucking here. So I'll be right up this loft, and I'll be reviewing the game straight into the camera, and I'm hoping it's a win. If it's the one that I'm reviewing, it's a loss or something, I'll be raging. But thank you, everybody. I really do appreciate your support. Have a good evening. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next